Welcome into the Crypto Bunker podcast. So just want to be looking at a few things today. Try to make a quick video here. I am making the case that we are in September of 2020 in regards to the cycle. And my case to be made is that the charts line up perfectly with this reality. We can also look at Bitcoin along with Ethereum, which also lines up with this 2020 test of the 20-week moving average. If you look back at 2020, which is right here, so we can see here we have a big market crash in August of 2020, where we wick down to the 20-week, and then counting this candle, we spend 6 weeks on the 20-week moving average. We are on the 6 week now, and it's the exact same time frame pretty much. It's actually a week prior right now, but it's very similar. I also make the case that, even based on the chart pattern itself, if you I can point out to you the similarities here, but basically you can see this big rally here, which everyone qualifies this whole period as a bear market, but it really wasn't. This was a bull market. And then we had corrections going into March of 2020, which reset the market. Okay, so let's look at that same thing. We have bull market up until March 24. Then we have this flagging formation, which we had here back in 2020. Then we have a rally and a big crash, which we had here for 2020. Then we have a rally and consolidation. Rally, consolidation. And let me just get back to this. And then we had, again, another rally, which was, looking like it was going to bring us to all-time highs. Then we corrected, but we only corrected back to the 20-week moving average, and then we mooned from there into the next year, which was 2021. So now what we're looking at is, again, same thing, same pattern. It's really this sort of flat top crash, correct at the 20-week, and now we're ready to take off to new highs, in my opinion. I don't think we've really seen anything yet in terms of this market. We haven't extended above the 20-week like we usually would. And so yeah, let's look at Ethereum as well. That's what I'm focused the most on. I think Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin from here on out. I do think Bitcoin will go to around 200 to 250K, potentially 300K in best case scenario. And Ethereum, we have the similar. Ethereum is just earlier in the cycle, essentially. So Ethereum is just earlier days here. And if we look at this sort of formation of 2020 for Ethereum, it's very similar. We are basically in that corrective pattern there. And then we're going to chop for a little bit, probably for the next month in Ethereum while Bitcoin leads. So Bitcoin will lead probably in October. And then November, Bitcoin will also probably lead. Maybe even December, Bitcoin could lead. So I think that we're looking at, ETH Bitcoin ratio potentially correcting here down to the 20-week moving average, which is around 0.031. So that would make sense to me. we definitely rallied hard and we need to sort of consolidate here. And so I see that taking place as well. Um, and then yeah, I mean I can show you um, I have all these different comparison charts. Obviously, there's many that we can look at, but basically I'll do the same thing I did with the Bitcoin chart just to point this out. So we do have right here, basically this rally, which was here. Then we had a correction, which was here, another rally up, and then a big crash down. So a rally up, big crash down. Then we can really see the similarities. So we can see that like up, consolidation. Then we go above the moving averages. Notice how the moving averages are not in order. The 200 week is on top, sort of similar. In this case, all the moving averages were very much in the consolidation mode. It was kind of obvious that once we broke through these moving averages that we were going to come up. And now we're in this consolidation here where most likely the 20 week is creeping up and it will come up and Ethereum will sort of consolidate in the next couple months. And then we have December, which seasonally is not the best for Ethereum, but in this case, I think it will be just like it was in December of 2020. Um, it won't be like a complete moonshot, but then January is really when the things will get going for Ethereum. This is just seasonally what will happen. And I think we could see around 10 to 15K for Ethereum, which would give us like a 300% gain somewhere around there. That's pretty much what I'm looking for in the next like 6 months. I know it sounds crazy, but it really also depends. There's a lot of catalysts happening. Obviously, we have Pusaka upgrade in December. We have the Clarity Act. We have the market regulation or market structure bill. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I do think, pretty much the 4-year cycles are dead in a way. We really just have to look at the moving averages and what the charts are showing us. And basically, the Ethereum bull run is just getting started because this was all sort of consolidation. The weeklies never spread out. You can see like if we were near a top, these weekly moving averages would be super wide like this, right? I mean, look at the difference. This is literally like the very beginning. It's very similar to this here. The moving averages are now officially in order, which is great to see. So we do see that, and I think the 20 week can act as support here. And then, we're really off to the races. We could definitely come down and test the 20 week at any time. That's around 3,500, 3,600. And yeah, this big shakeout here really gave the reset that we needed for the market. And then we had a consolidation and rip to all-time highs, and now we're consolidating. So very bullish for Ethereum. And, if we just take simply the bottom of this to the top, it's not going to be the same because obviously it's not going to go. I mean, it could. I still think it could. But yeah, that would be like 54,000. So I don't think that will happen. I think Ethereum could outperform people's expectations. I think it's a long-term hold. I don't think necessarily it's like a sell unless you're just super, super long. Then you might want to sell around 10 to 15K. But basically, I think we might correct after that. And then who knows? It could be like a super cycle. The super cycle thesis comes from the possibility that I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities. Okay. So I just want to be clear about that. But it's very possible that this is a similar chart pattern to what we're seeing. This is the NASDAQ from the 80s, basically. And to me, it's the exact same chart pattern. You can zoom in on it to see that. And obviously, we know what happened after that to the NASDAQ. So, it's possible that if everything is brought on chain, that we could have these types of crazy returns where ETH goes to like 100K, 200K, something like that. Um, so that's still a possibility for Ethereum, to go to a $10 trillion market cap. Um, if everything comes on chain, obviously that is a possibility. So just wanted to clear that up as well. So yeah, hopefully you guys got something out of the video today. If you did, please like, subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.